This episode of TWIMMO is brought to you with limited commercial interruption by Audible.com. For a free 30-day trial, head on over to audible.com/GameBreaker.
GameBreaker TV.
What's up, everybody? The lines are up. It's not... Oh, wait, this isn't After Dark? It's late enough. It could be After Dark. Welcome, everybody, to TWIMMO episode 125 for December 14th. You're watching GameBreaker, and I'm Mike Shaffnett. Tonight, get your not-so-secret any more jokes ready, because a game is going free to play. On top of that, we've got a whole bunch of layoffs, as well as a revival, and a game that actually can succeed with a subscription, all that and more. But first, you know him, you love him. He's grown a beard since I think I've last seen him. Movember's over, Mike B.
Your mom's over,
you
Mike Shaffnett.
Wow!
Damn.
That just jumped to personal.
It doesn't count. That's like the third time he said your mom in the last 5 minutes. He's broken the your mom rule. You can only use it twice a day.
We weren't recording. That was backstage stuff.
If a mom joke is told in the forest and no one's...
And we've got the one and only Mr. Jason Winter joining us as well.
We do indeed. We also have my wrong Twitter address. Shaffner was not given the memo to put my real one up. But...
I totally didn't update it.
TPS reports, cover sheets, guys. Come on.
I just grabbed whatever was pre-made.
I'm sure you do that a lot.
You know her, you love her. Gamer with the blue hair. Hillary
Hi.
Nicole. How's it going, Hillary?
It's going great. Your mom's going great.
Oh, damn! See, that was a good one. See, if we didn't know ahead of time, I would have saved mine and let you go. That was way better. It's good.
All right, so let's jump into this and get this show going. Let's start off with the topic today. Are you gonna let me do this show, or should I just walk away and you guys can talk about my mom for an hour?
I'm sorry.
How old are we?
Let's get this show going and talk about a game that's going free to play. You guys know it. I don't know if a lot of us weren't expecting it or not, but the Secret World is going free to play. Is anyone surprised by this news? I mean,
Yes,
we kind of always
terribly.
thought it was going to happen.
Didn't we kind of always think that it should have happened, like when it launched?
I love the look of shock on everyone's faces right now.
I know, huh?
Oh, it went free to play. No!
Well, it's not really free to play. It's
Yeah.
buy to play, more like the Guild Wars 2 kind of thing. You buy the box and there's no sub. And
That's true.
Yeah.
But you know, as we were talking about though, it's kind of the writing's been on the wall for a while since it launched. You know, Mike, I remember you and Gary were constantly saying this game should be free to play, and you would play if it was free to play, but
Like I
continue
think
to follow a subscription model.
So I understand why they wanted to go, or why some people would think that it should have been subscription. But I think the bigger picture really was that it would have just been much more successful early on if it was a free to play game. Mainly because I went in and I did a BFF report on it, and I actually like the game. I think the game is great. There's problems with it, of course. Combat's weird, right? But in terms of the investigative missions or whatever and all that stuff, like using all those different elements in order to complete, you know, a quest was awesome. Like I highly recommend if you purchased it, you just haven't played it, or if you want to just buy it once and just go and check it out. If you're into any of this stuff, then go and check it out. Like any of this, you know, supernatural, mystery, whatever, mystique, all this stuff. And it was worth it for people who are into that, right? But for everyone else, it's not, and that's a thing. That's a small group of people. It's not going to work out. So yeah, free to play makes sense, or buy the box and then free makes sense.
So this structure makes sense for them to get people in and playing their game. But what about the fact? Do you think that they were kind of? We had kind of always said that they were probably anticipating this because they always had a cash shop integrated, but this is actually might be really good for them, because where we've seen other games that have had a subscription try and adopt a free-to-play model and integrate a cash shop or integrate, you know, a way for them to still be making money, Secret World kind of already has something implemented here. So do you think that it's going to be a fairly smooth transition for the player base?
You know, it's actually kind of funny that we almost didn't see this coming, because if you look at the cash shop and the stuff that's offered in it, it's not what you get in a lot of free-to-play games, which is, you know, unlock content or in some of the really nasty ones, you know, selling weapons, selling power, whatever. It's mostly cosmetic stuff, a little bit of. I looked at it the other day too. It's the sort of stuff you expect to find in, say, Guild Wars as an example, where it's just nothing really game changing or anything. You feel you still get the full game. So if they were to go to the complete buy to or complete free to play model, they would have had to put in all that stuff. Yet I think the cash shop is essentially unchanged from what it was beforehand.
Do you think at all that they're kind of trying that this structure is going to help them avoid the issues that we saw with another unnamed game that shifted into the free-to-play model? They had so many issues, and everybody hated the model. Do you think that maybe they learned from that mistake?
Well, I mean, again, and the issue there was probably that BioWare wasn't planning to go free-to-play with Star Wars when it first came out, so they had to really jury-rig a lot of stuff into there and had to play around with settings and so on, and probably didn't have a great idea of what they wanted to do exactly and what all they needed to set. So that was probably the issue. And it's what most other games have when they go free to play, is they weren't planning on it, so they try something and it works or it doesn't work, and people will get upset because of one thing or another. Whereas I haven't really, again, just maybe mostly just my personal opinion, it seems that this is a pretty good transition, that there's not anything you can really complain about, I think.
All right, so jumping into kind of their structure with the way that they're going to be doing this is all existing game content is going to be played for free. As we said, it's going to be buy to play. But additionally, when asked if they're going to be any restrictions to what a free player has access to, Funcom actually came out and responded with no. So, Hillary, do you think that this is kind of a way that no one can really kind of come out and complain about this model based on their approach with it?
I think people are going to complain about this model regardless. I think people are always going to have a reason to complain about X, Y, and Z game, and this is why I don't want to, you know, I want to be able to try it out for free, and I want to play it for free, and I have to buy it first? What? No. People always find a reason to complain. I think one reason that they have to go this route, and they can't really get away with going the Star Wars route, is because not only is the game, like Mike B said, it has a lore behind it that maybe not as many people are into, but also it's a mature rating. And so you're already isolating yourself a lot just with that mature rating. And then you're going to go even further and try out like this new lore of the supernatural and whatnot. And I don't think they really have a choice. They can't get away with putting so many limitations on their game. I think that something like Star Wars has a little more of a choice in doing that. That's my opinion, at least.
They also they have the Initiate pack that people were able to purchase in December, like this month, I guess. And they're even offering, this is something that you actually don't see a lot of. So it says, I already bought an Initiate pack in December 2012. Why was that not free? And basically they're saying anybody who purchased that pack will get a refund in currency and bonus game points credit to their accounts. So a lot of times whenever a game is selling content and then they do a shift in their business model or a shift in whatever it is, they don't have like a refund price matching policy like your local whatever store, right? They don't quite do that. But in this case, they are doing it. So not only are they saying that all content is going to be accessible for everybody, and I don't know if that necessarily means all current content or if it means all content, period, outside of whatever is in the shop. But they're also saying anybody that, by the way, who bought into this stuff recently, this Initiate pack, will be reimbursed 1,800 bonus points. So that's kind of nice.
Now, Hillary, when you were talking, you actually had said that people were going to have problems with wanting, you know, I want to be able to jump in and try for free and not pay up front just to try and see if I like the game. And I feel like they're adopting, you know, essentially the Guild Wars model here, where it's buy to play, but they don't necessarily have the grounds with fan base that Guild Wars did. So do you think that they could maybe benefit from kind of like a free trial period of time where people can jump in for free and play the game to experience it for maybe a week, and then after that they've got to buy the box.
I think that if they had a free trial of sorts, it would get some people to try out the game. I think that, I mean, of course, I think a lot of people are willing to try out a game that essentially is free for at least like 20 levels or whatever you want to say, the first zone of that game, since it's kind of zoned off. I think that ultimately, though, I don't think that's enough. I don't think it's enough to get into something like the Secret World. That might be enough to determine if you want to play Star Wars or WoW or games like WoW and Star Wars. I don't think it's enough for the Secret World because the Secret World is so different. And if you play just one zone, I don't think it's enough to actually experience the game. Especially, no offense to them, but the zombie zone. I thought it was kind of bland for a zombie zone, and I think there's enough zombie games out there that are exciting that one didn't really do it as much justice as the other zones did. And so it's hard to say, honestly, but I think that I don't know. This is an easy route for them, but going fully free and then having just a shop might have helped them a little more.
See, I only barely got past the zombie zone, and I thought just that zone was, I think it was good enough to give you the taste of what the game was about, and so you could try investigation missions and try, see how the skill wheel works, whatever. So I kind of think that would be enough if that were the free trial, or if it were a 3-day thing or something like that, or a week-long free thing. I think you can get enough out of just playing in that area and have enough to do for 10, 20 hours or so that you get a pretty good idea of what the game is like, and without necessarily having to experience everything.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had, and they've done this before, the free weekends. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that again, and maybe even gone and issued to like existing players these 24-hour passes, 24, 48-hour passes or whatever, to give to whoever, to the friends to play. I wouldn't be surprised if they did this, and now if they had the means to do it, they could attach some kind of monetary gain or some kind of compensation, some virtual compensation of some sort to the player who recruits a friend, even if it is for 24 hours or whatever. Right now, this is basically their business model shift. Obviously, their PR department should be right behind them to support that with other methods of in order to get players into the game.
But I'm kind of surprised that your guys' overall response is underwhelmed by what they're offering. I mean, if we're not to compare what this game is or to other games like Guild Wars or World of Warcraft or Star Wars, they're being incredibly generous with what they're offering to players for just a down payment on the game itself without the sub to be able to have access to everything else. So do you think that it's just kind of the way that games need to be now if they don't have a staple of Star Wars or WoW or this big name looming overhead to draw players in? Is this just something that has to happen for newer IPs like this?
I do agree that if you don't have something huge, if you don't have WoW 2 or Star Wars or whatever, or maybe the Elder Scrolls, that I just don't. I agree that I don't think box and sub works unless you know you can draw in something approaching 1 million players or something.
So now, as for the, go ahead.
Well, I wanna add in that this might sound pessimistic or whatever, but I'm not being a pessimist. I will say that I liked their concept, I liked their ideas, but I didn't think it was executed as well as I would have liked or what I would have imagined in a game similar to that. And I don't know, it's hard to explain. I didn't like the skill system as much. I've had experience in skill-based games, Ultima Online being one that I really enjoyed, and I just didn't like the way the Secret World did it. And I think that, not only is it a new IP, but they're trying something that is drastic and completely new to a lot of people. And I think that's one of the reasons that I guess a lot of people can't really get into it as much as they would have liked, and why they might have had high hopes, but it didn't end up pulling through.
So with their model, the way that they're going with it, you can actually still subscribe to the game, which will get you free items and free store currency. But I think the big draw here with the deal that they're doing is a lot of people are going to end up trying to probably save their store currency for future content patches, aren't they?
Has that been clear? I mean, can you buy that with the in-game currency, or do you still have to pay cash for it? Because some games that do offer their own points won't let you do that with the points. You still have to pay cash.
I'm not sure.
Anybody know? Chat room, help me out here.
I mean,
I read the thread.
just,
I skimmed the thread. I didn't necessarily see anything about using the points in terms of. I mean, it may be in there. It's a pretty lengthy write-up. It's basically a big FAQ. But let's see. He does say, besides, when can the next DLC content be expected? Here we go. Periodically release packs of DLC. The main content in these packs will be story leading to unique rewards, items, and missions. These packs are fully optional and can be purchased. Oh, here we go. Purchased for bonus points that are included in the optional membership. Of course, it was at the very end. Like I was going through it, I was like, okay, I got enough of this. But yes, you can buy with the bonus points that are included in the optional membership, as well as the points offered with Grandmaster Lifetime Service. Well,
that's fine. I mean, if you're paying for the sub already and you're getting your free points, you might as well be able to get the $5 add-on pack included essentially with your sub. So it's like if you have a sub, you're getting free content packs like you do in a lot of games. Whereas if you don't have the sub, you will have to pay an extra couple bucks for it.
Yeah, they say they're going to sell in the item store. So unless they're going to have dual currencies, like real money and then their in-game currency being used in the item store, then that remains to be seen.
Now, here's the thing that I don't want to see though with something like this is we've seen this so much with console games is the game will release, but the game releases with DLC that you got to buy right out of the gate. And that always to me as a gamer is super frustrating when I just paid $60 for the game. I hope this doesn't get pushed over into paying for DLC for the game right after. But I think what Funcom's doing here to kind of rectify the situation is that they're also coming out and saying that they're going to be releasing free content updates on top of the paid updates as well. So that, I mean, that's got to kind of even the odds and make it fair to everyone. What do you guys say?
Well, it's optional, which kind of makes sense in the game. It doesn't really have like a level cap or levels in the traditional sense, whereby if you don't want that new raid or whatever, I guess maybe it could have like new gear that's better than something else. I guess maybe you would kind of need it. We'll only know once that comes out, but generally, it's not like it is. It's not like in a game like if it was WoW, level 80 is the cap, and this next expansion gets you 85. Well, you gotta have that. You can't get to level 85 without that. But with this, you'll be able to keep leveling, keep building up your skill points and whatever. You don't need the additional content to do it.
Do they get away with that simply because of the fact that they're not a typical level expansion styled expansion DLCs, or is this something that can be adopted in other games as well?
I don't think that too many people will be happy with it. I think that a lot of people think that, if you're going to offer new content for the game, that it should be offered for free. I think we see that on so many different MMOs at the moment, like expansions, where people feel like they should get expansions for free, or things that might be added into the game, like if Rift added things on your phone, which I believe they already did, like crafting on your phone, and you had to pay for that, users would be mad, because they'd be like, why do I have to pay for this? I already paid for the game, or I paid for the game, and if you're going to give it to me, then just give it to me. Don't make me have to pay for it. And the whole discounted for people with subs is even worse, I think, because people with subs, in my opinion, should get everything that's added into the game for free. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I believe that people should have access to content no matter what. If a game's free, unless, I mean, I can't really overrule everybody, though, as much as I wish I could.
Dictator Pocket doesn't exist.
Not yet.
All right, well, Funcom actually also came out and released a trailer with this news, so let's jump in and take a look at it.
Dead air.
If the world seems ordinary, then you must look beyond the obvious. Every myth, every legend, and every conspiracy is true. Everything is true. Take a step into the shadows and discover an extraordinary reality. Choose from hundreds of different abilities and develop the character you want to play. Travel the world, from London to New York, from Egypt to Transylvania, and unearth some of the darkest secrets known to mankind. Join one of 3 secret societies vying for control. Enter the war as part of the Illuminati, the Dragon, or the Templars. Fight with thousands of other players across battlefields such as Stonehenge and El Dorado. There are no rules, no limits, and no restrictions. The only certainty is that your world is about to be turned inside out. Anything is possible. Everything is true.
So, I think overall, not, that trailer didn't really, and again, there's just an announcement that it's going free to play, but I don't think it really showed like there was much more to the game for people who've already jumped in and experienced it. So with that being said, you know, Mike, you specifically, I remember saying this game should be free to play. I could see playing it if it was free to play. Now that it's kind of the case, do any of you guys think that you'll end up going back and trying out Secret World? No, I guess
awkward pause.
Not. That is a straight up no.
It's something
Without
I can see
wanting to
myself
say
jumping
no.
into. I can see myself jumping into it every now and then, but I don't know it's going to become like my main game. I mean, it was okay to play, but again, it's just personal preference. I think the system is good. I think the way they're doing that, the payment is good, but it's just not something I'm exceptionally interested in.
Yeah, it would definitely be an episodical thing. It was one of those things where you would play for like, you know, to get through maybe a certain set of missions and then log out. It's like, whoo, okay. Well, I'm so glad I burned Google out for that one. And then come back next week Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Tune in and you do it again. It seems like a very episodical style game.
Yeah,
Well,
I think if I did play it, it would be just to experience it. Like, I would get into the game just to experience it and then finish it. Like, I'm one of those people that when I get into a game, I want to complete it in the sense that I get through a lot of it, and then I quit. And only games that really, really get my attention will I actually keep playing beyond that. But, I mean, so far, that's been very few.
I was about to say, you call yourself an MMO player. You play a game until you're done with it, and then you quit? No.
Yeah,
Keep
I
playing,
beat the
keep
game.
grinding.
I killed the Lich King, so I beat WoW, and so
Okay.
I was like, done,
That's
life complete.
Over.
But there's still Deathwing and now eventually somehow Thrall, or not Thrall. Wow, I'll get flamed for that one.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
gosh.
Jeez, you
We're killing
you.
Thrall. That's the twist to the
Yeah.
end of MOP, is we're killing Thrall.
I would go back if they were killing Thrall, and I would rage so hard. I would be the new red shirt guy. So, seriously.
Well, it's a shame Gary's not on here. It would be interesting to hear Gary's opinion, because I know he always talked about jumping in and playing it if there wasn't a sub attached to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gary jumps in and plays. Let's shift gears and move on, but to a little bit more sadder note here is there's some layoffs that we got to announce. So everybody, it must be Friday. Unfortunately, this week it's Trion who's taken the hit. So the official statement was as follows. As a response to market conditions, product timelines, and the natural evolution of our company, we have made some organizational changes which include a workforce reduction. This was a difficult decision, and we wish the best to those affected by these changes. At Trion, we remain focused on delivering top quality online gaming experiences and have committed to supporting Rift and launching our highly anticipated new titles, Defiance, Warface, and the End of Nations in 2013. So I think first and foremost, it's always goes without saying is good luck to those guys who are affected by this. It always sucks, and it's probably even a lot harder, not only this time of year with the holidays, but additionally with finding work. This is always a tough time of year. So our hearts go out to you on this one. But unfortunately, it just seems like we've seen so many layoff stories this year now, haven't we? Like 2012 was like the death of MMOs.
There you go. I started a political debate. You're welcome.
It must be that Obamacare.
Go, internet, go.
Papa John's was right all along.
I expect 3 hate blogs after this. No, but, you know, it's really sad because I worked at Trion for a little over a year, and some of these people were my friends, and while some of them might not have been my friends, they were great people. And
I hated those guys.
I can't be friends with everybody that works at Trion.
I'm so glad that they got let go. They didn't deserve that job.
I didn't mean it like that. I'm sick. Don't come out wrong. I had NyQuil.
Yes, you are sick. Sick and twisted.
No, but no. I mean, a lot of great people lost their jobs, and this goes not just for this company, but you know, companies earlier this year. And it's really sad to see so many game companies laying off so many people. In the game industry, it's really surprising for me because the game industry is something I feel like it's doing so well because I mean, tons of people game, but it feels like so many people are losing their jobs still, and it's kind of hard to understand. And yeah, it's really hard to find a job right now in the game industry. It really is. I take it from someone who's been looking for a while to get back in, but you know, it sucks, and I hope that they all find jobs soon.
Except for those ones that you don't like.
I didn't say that. I didn't
That was cool.
say
That was cool.
that.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool, Pocket. No, it's all right. It's all right.
Oh,
Don't
said
ever get
that.
on Pocket's bad side. She'll wish you don't have a
Just
job.
kidding.
I know. What the hell?
but we always talk about this a little bit when after a new game comes out, and then there's the layoffs. We're like, oh well, of course they had, you know, they don't need those people anymore. You wonder if maybe just a little bit of that coming after Storm Legion, they maybe had a little extra they didn't need or something like that. Maybe, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, well, the other factor that I believe you guys talked a little bit about last week too was the fact that Trion just talked about bringing End of Nations in-house to finish off its development. Do you think that could have been a factor here? And I mean, it seems pretty relevant, as well as Rift, which we'll get to in a second. Any thoughts on End of Nations being brought in-house and causing this or being a part of this?
I mean, we discussed this last week, TWIMMO? Where basically it's like maybe they're just unhappy with the way the production was going with End of Nations, you know, and they just decided to bring it in-house for whatever reason. Obviously, you trim the fat, and you do that. You get a lot of overlapping jobs, you get redundancy. So yeah, I'm not surprised. And plus, there's been a lot of competition coming out that's happened this year. There's a lot of games that are just killing it. People are still playing the balls off Skyrim. Borderlands 2 is pretty much like the most played game of 2012 according to Raptor. So there's a lot of competition that's coming out, and even though we're talking about, you know, MMOs, we know, I mean, you cannot deny that Skyrim definitely had a hand in depleting guildmates' attendance to various
Across
functions.
the board, yeah.
I
exactly.
don't even know. Like, after every game release, after about a month, or every MMO release, after about a month, people are like, man, I've been thinking about Skyrim and going and playing it again. And even I did. I was actually like, I remember I was playing Guild Wars 2, and I'm like, man, I'd love to play Skyrim right about now. I don't know why. And I ended up going back for a few days, and then I ended up quitting for another game to try it out. But Skyrim is an amazing freaking game, and it's not even an MMO, and you can spend hours just pillaging and killing people with bows. Seriously.
So ESO won't. You hope that everybody at ESO keeps their job. Then you don't want them to lose it because you want to see Elder Scrolls
No,
Online.
she hates them too. She hates all of them.
Okay. All right. Well, then you're not getting your Skyrim MMO. So Jason, you know, as you mentioned, the other big topic here is the fact that Storm Legion launched in November, and now we're halfway through December. So seeing layoffs at Trion can't necessarily be a good sign for what their expectations were for people to return to Rift with Storm Legion. Do you think that this is kind of the cause of this?
I mean, you don't want to read too much into it. You know, obviously we don't know what the numbers are. We don't know how well Storm Legion sold or whatever. But I mean, it's something you could look at. If I remember correctly, I think just after Dungeons and Dragons Online released their expansion in June, like about a month and a half after that, Turbine laid off a fair number of people. So maybe it is a case of, we have the money to get an expansion out and to see how that does, and then if it doesn't perform after a month or a month and a half or whatever, then we look at making some changes. Or maybe it was just something that, like we said, like the other changes, the end of nation stuff, or just in general, they always had it on the calendar to, if we don't meet certain goals for Q3, then sometime in Q4 we're going to cut some people. So you don't want to, like I said, we don't know the numbers. You don't want to read too much into it, but I give it a solid maybe.
Now, coming right after what we talked about with the Secret World, Rift is one of the fewer MMOs out there that's sticking with a subscription model and has for a significant period of time. So, and as far as I'm aware, we actually haven't heard of any sort of free-to-play model that's coming to the game. If I get what you're saying is we don't have numbers, but if free-to-play is in the cards for Rift at some point, do you think that's an avenue that could bring people back to the game, if that's why they're having to lay off so many people? There's a lot of ifs in this statement. I'll blanket that. This is a very loaded question.
I mean, it couldn't hurt. Going free to play is always going to get more people to check it out. And sometimes, I don't think I've looked for like a dungeon or a raid, recently. But even back when I was playing Rift pretty heavily about a year ago, it would take a while for that stuff to pop. So if you have more free people, more free players, whatever, theoretically it would take less time. You'd have more people around doing Rift events and so on. So it certainly couldn't hurt. It'd be something that you'd want to look for. If you were a Rift player and you were frustrated not being able to find as many people as you want, it should be something that you would welcome.
Well, free to play might not be.
If they last a while longer, if they go like another year, I think they could beat. I realize there's probably a lot of games out there, but recently a lot of games have come out, like they've just gone free to play within like a year, right? They're what, like 4 months away, like March is when the game released, 2011. So they can make it 2 years, man. If they keep going, they can catch up to. Isn't EQ2 still sub-based or something?
No,
isn't there another game that came out in like 1999 or something that's like still
Ultima
sub-based?
Online still has a sub.
There you go. See?
Came out in '97.
That's what they're going for right now.
Just going for
Bam.
I think not Star Wars. I just read chat. Sorry. I think Rift is doing fine. I think these layoffs had barely anything to do with Rift. I think it had a lot to do with End of Nations and the fact that obviously it wasn't going in the direction they wanted it to. This is made clear by so many different sites and stuff. But I think that's what it had to do. I don't think this has too much of a direct correlation with Rift. I think that it seems like Rift is doing fine, and I got on my server and it was pretty fairly populated, even though it was one of the medium to lower pop servers about 6 months ago. It seems fine now. The expansion, I think, has actually done quite well, according to what I've seen in the higher level zones. And so I don't think it's doing terrible. I think that maybe they could get a few more server merges in, but I think it's doing fine. It seems like it's doing fine.
Well, if
I
at the
don't
very
count
least,
Eve in that. I don't include Eve in anything.
I was going to say
it's a whole other world. I realize we're about to go there, but I just want to say that should be like the obvious. Like, here's the game that's been out for a while. That's relatively recent, right? But it still have a sub base. Eve has their own thing going on. Whole other world.
I actually think PlanetSide 1 still has a sub. I think it came out around the same time, like 03 or something.
Jeez.
I think Rift is doing a good job. They put out new content all the time, and they put out a lot of it not even in expansions. Most of it is not in expansions, and I think that's what's keeping a lot of people around, because they're constantly getting hammered with new content and they love it. I don't know how many people watched Tally's stream the other day, but he ended up doing this giant Colossus event in the new zones, and literally I heard so many people say this is what the Deathwing fight should have been. It was just mind-blowing. It was pretty amazing to watch, and that was just a world event, and that's it. It's like, wow. It wasn't a raid or an instance or anything. It was amazing, and it's like, wow, they put a lot of effort into this world event, this one world event. It was pretty amazing. So I think that the way they're going, they're keeping a lot of people just based on that.
Well, speaking of Rift and content and even kind of the free-to-play, for those of you guys who maybe been previous subscribers to Rift and haven't checked out Storm Legion, they've got this new deal going on starting December 14th. It's actually started today, where you guys can jump in and try Storm Legion for free. As you know, we kind of been talking about, there's a lot of new stuff going on with this new expansion, new levels, there's dimensions, just amazing things that they've been doing here with Rift. And if you guys have not checked it out since you've maybe dropped your sub, it's the perfect time to come back. You can play for free for 4 days and get involved in it, because, you know, as Pocket said, it's going really well, and the content that they're releasing is enough to keep you guys involved with Rift. So be sure to go check it out. Head on over to riftgame.com and be sure to try that out this weekend. Now,
Okay.
What's that?
I said kill bad guys
Kill bad guys.
and build houses.
Wait, what's that?
Okay, and build houses. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling.
Totally
It's an
throwing me
NyQuil.
off. You're throwing
It's
me
an
off my game.
NyQuil.
I've been going smooth this whole time.
Sorry.
No, you haven't.
All right.
But go ahead.
She hates you too.
she hates me and hopes I lose my job now. Just in case you guys thought the subscription model can't work unless you've got pandas involved, as Mike B said, CCP is here to prove you guys wrong. Their latest expansion and relaunch in China has pushed EVE Online to over 450,000 subscribers. And that is a huge milestone for CCP, I think. Especially when subscriptions are something that we just are seeing die off the face of the planet.
Soon they'll have 11 million. Like, wow.
Soon. They
By
only
the time
need another 100 years.
I'm about to say they'll get there at the time that they actually catch up with the Eve timeline.
It'll be the coffee shops or the cafes or whatever they are. The ones that, you know, every time someone logs into the terminal, it counts as a sub. Yeah, that'll be what happens. It'll be like 11 million subs. We beat WoW. And everybody will be like, oh, oops, I didn't mean to hit myself. But yeah. I got this all figured out.
Now, as we said, Eve is about a 10-year-old game, and its subscriber base is something that has been a slow burn, but it's one that's never seen a drastic drop in subscriptions over the years. So, is there anyone else in the market that has successfully seen growth over that kind of time frame?
Or just stability like they have, like in those number range. That's what I'm saying. Like they found a group of people that, whether or not attrition hurts or helps, right? It doesn't, or whether or not attrition happens, they still manage to maintain these numbers for such a long period of time. And this is great, and this is great for them, especially because we know that like Dust is coming soon, and so the more players that you get kind of actively into the game and kind of aware of the game, hopefully for them, right, the Dust will help kind of bolster those numbers even further and even expand their gameplay even more. So it's good. It's good that they have more people in there. I'm curious to see how this pans out. I can't imagine any kind of single shard setup or single universe setup or whatever having 11 million people. It would just be a traffic jam, wouldn't it?
It'd be amazing. I would kill so many people. Outright kill them.
And that's the thing, though.
She would go to their houses and actually kill them to get them out of the game so she could move around.
No, I didn't. That's
She hates them.
horrible.
that's
I
what
would
she
go
did to
there
the
in
jobs over at
my
Trion.
ship, obviously. Oh my God. You guys are painting a horrible picture of me.
Yeah. I mean, Eve is one of those games that is like not had a lot of players, but the thing is they've never really needed those millions. They kind of, as Mike, you said, they perfected the niche that they were involved in, and it's paid off hugely for them overall. People aren't leaving it. Once people kind of start, they stick with it.
I have this theory, right? This theory is a very nice theory. I played a game called Wartune, and it's like a fraction of what Eve is in regards to grinding and stuff, but it builds up this thing like, I've already done so much in this game that if I quit now, I feel like everything I've done and all the time I've spent will be all for naught, and that I will just have wasted so much time. So I have to keep going. I have to keep going. And you do. You keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going and going. And then you get another account, and you keep going on that account. And literally, by the time I was done, I had 4 characters. And then finally, I'm like, you know what? I need to quit.
I have a problem.
I have a problem. And it's like this grind, this build-up, and then you feel like you have wasted your life, which you have, if you don't stop. And I feel like that's one reason they keep so many people, where it's like, I've been playing for 3 years straight. I am awesome right now. And if I stop now, I will poop my pants. Seriously.
But isn't that every MMO? You have to keep going. You can't
No.
keep going. If you
With
stop,
That is every
You're pooping
MMO.
your
I'm
pants.
not
That's
even gonna
not.
let you. Yes, it is.
So, okay,
That
this
is
is what
why
I mean.
that is one of the major factors as to why I still play WoW, is because I've put so much time into that game that I feel like if I quit, I've lost the last 3-4 years of my life.
Well, the thing is, you could quit WoW right now and come back next expansion and catch up. You can catch up really easy. But in a game like Wartune, I'm just going to name Wartune because I haven't like adamantly played Eve. In a game like Wartune, you miss a week and you are done. Like, you are done. You are so far behind that you will not catch up to the top players again. Not without any like amount of work going into that or money. It's like you will just not catch up. And so that's what I'm talking about. That's the difference between WoW and a game like Eve or Wartune, in my opinion, is you can quit and not play for a few months and then play catch up really easily. I quit for over a year, came back in Wrath, and did a month of grinding to get 3 characters in Lich King gear to beat the Lich King on all 3 for a title. I did that in a month. I mean, that's, in my opinion, the difference. That's like the addicting hook that Eve gets in people.
Do you guys
like
think
it.
that it's? Do you guys think that this is how subscription models could possibly survive going forward? Is offer your players something that no one else can?
well, that's how any game should probably get by. I mean, or at least try to be original, try to offer something that the other games don't. But when it's basically
not-
WoW clone after WoW clone, that doesn't work out so well.
Yeah, right. It's like it's either you play it safe and just make a WoW clone, right? And it could be an anything clone. It could be a Minecraft clone. It could be a WoW clone. It could be any popular game clone, right? Or you go like the extreme opposite, which is offer some crazy game that somehow nobody's ever heard of and hope that it catches on and people start playing it, right?
Like Eve.
Like
Eve.
I would say like Eve, totally. And then everything else kind of sits in the like in the gray area in the middle, and it's kind of like, oh, this game's doing all right. It's kind of like pretty much it. I would definitely put Eve on like on the this game is not like a lot of games. Like, it's definitely in a small unique group, and it's doing really well. And then World of Warcraft, I'd put like on the opposite side, and everything else kind of falls like in the middle. I put Rift in the middle somewhere. Even though I consider Rift to be kind of like a WoW-ish clone. Guild Wars 2 would also be kind of like in the middle. These games are doing pretty good. But they're not like 11 million, and they're not 250,000 on such a niche like genre. Or sorry, 450,000 now on such a niche genre.
All right. You guys are the quickest to just go quiet on me. It's great. I don't know what to
I'll start fading out for you, and don't worry about it.
Seven.
Like, yeah,
And then that'll be my cue that I can. In other news, Asheron's Call 2 is an MMO that launched in 2002, but was closed in 2005, and it's actually making its way back. Turbine is reviving the... Hang on, this might be Gary. Nope, not Gary. That's how bad it is. If I get a phone call in the middle of a show, I've got to think that it's Gary.
Shaffitt, quit screwing up.
If I don't answer it, he's gonna keep calling. So, all right, Asheron's 2 launched back in 2002 and closed in 2005, and it's actually coming back. So, Turbine is reviving the beast and offering up a server that everybody can play on for free. Now, providing that you sub to the original Asheron's Call, which ironically has been chugging away all this time and it actually didn't get canceled. Do you guys have any experience with Asheron's 2? I didn't even know this title existed, and I don't think YouTube did either, because this is all I can find of it, and it's about a minute long, and this is from IGN.
Man, look at that quality.
It's so good, right?
It's beautiful.
that aspect ratio.
And this is the game that failed. Like you said, Asheron's Call 1 is still around. It's a sub game that's been around for 10 years or whatever. So cool.
Yeah, like it's interesting that they're bringing it back. Which I mean, it's great that they're. I wish the other games that I played many years ago that are pretty much on like their last weird community supported legs came back in their original formats. We saw with the EverQuest. What is it? The vanilla servers. When they came up with that stuff, what do they call it? They had a name for it, but basically it was a vanilla server. They brought that back. I mean, that's great. And you know, people are always asking for World of Warcraft vanilla servers, so they could go, I don't know, just hate themselves like forever. But it's great when they do that, and it's a good way to kind of refresh people's. Just kind of get the name and the IP kind of back in people's minds, and so that way they could, I don't know, release an iPad version of the game or something. Who knows?
You got to wonder what Turbine's what their play is here, other than just, hey, this is something nice we decided to throw up for our players. I mean, if you bring it back for 7 years, why? Are you going to try to make money off it at some point?
No, we just thought, hey, you know, remember that thing that we canceled a couple years ago because it wasn't working? Let's bring it back. Maybe it'll work.
There's a
We didn't actually
spot
start the
server
game.
rack.
We just lost the batteries, and we found a new set, popped it in. There it is.
Because they're gonna make a new one. No, this is what they're gonna do. I got it. Okay, NyQuil's kicking in. So what they're going to do is they're going to announce that they're going to kill it, and then it's going to be reborn. That's exactly.
Wait, what? They're gonna bring it back and they're gonna kill it?
Yeah, they're gonna bring it back to destroy the world and then make it reborn. I'm making a Final Fantasy 14 reference here.
Well, chat room was asking for us to mention Final Fantasy in some fashion, so there you go.
There you go.
It's gonna be fought about. We're already asking for arguments. Because we hate Final Fantasy over here, I guess, is the general consensus.
That's not true.
I love it, but you know.
So Turbine's actually calling us a beta at the moment. Do you guys think that we'll see a full release for this next year?
Yes.
Blank stares and no statements at all, or one-word answers. This is wonderful.
No, it's I'm just trying to think of like what happens when, you know, it goes to beta and then it launches, and like I just can't wait to see people like mad in the forums about bugs that weren't fixed in beta. You know, like how do you handle? Because we don't see this very often for a game that's like dead, like gone, right? We don't see games come back like this. How do you handle betas, and how do you handle, you know, user
give it
feedback?
out to a million
Because think
people,
about
right?
it. All the feedback and everything they're getting, this is a different crowd. Even if it's the same crowd, your mindset has changed. Like, you've been conditioned. You're a different person than you were 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Like, you're not, you know, single, doing nothing, had no job, living with mom, nothing but time to play games. Now you're a successful business person with wife and 8 kids. And a money bin, right?
You might be single with no job, still living with mom. What are you talking? You don't know,
still
mate.
playing. But no, my point is that you're still different because you're playing games now.
Yeah.
So the games you're playing now are different than what that game was. And so when they go to debate it with that, people might go in there and be like, "Oh my god, like this is some dated mechanics. Like I don't like this and this and this." And they might just be inundated with just crazy requests to essentially modernize this game. And they might just say, "F it, we're just gonna release it in this vanilla format. Screw you guys, this game's awesome."
Oh, it's going to be glorious. The people who've never played it and they're going to go try it because, you know, it's a new game. It's a new game to them, and they're going to go try it, and they are just going to tear it apart. It's not going to be funny at all. It's actually going to be quite sad. And then they'll be like, the graphics aren't good. The mechanics are outdated. And it's like, this game is old.
But they're playing
are
Asheron's
young.
Call 1 already. If they're going to play about Asheron's Call 2 having outdated graphics and not playing well.
So
Why
it's funny.
is it playing one?
Scott's in chat and he says it died because no one liked it. They're bringing it back. They're bringing back the game that people didn't want in the first place. But see, Scott. But here's the thing: what if it's because they were doing some advanced stuff that nobody was doing then, and no one could attach to it? But that's all stuff that people can relate to now. See, you never know. It might be the next big thing. They just worked too early, ahead of their time.
So when City of Heroes coming back?
in 5 more years. I think that's the formula.
Oh,
You gotta
okay.
let it die for 5 years. All right, last up here, my favorite topic, which I'm gonna get a whole bunch of blank stares and no responses from, is Nexon's actually partnering with a company that I can't even begin to pronounce the word for. Kodensha, I'm gonna say, for a, wait for it, Ghost in the Shell title. Now, I say title because they actually haven't come out and said anything relating to it being an MMO yet. But we, at this point, know that Nexon's going to be working on a Ghost in the Shell, hopefully, MMO. Have you guys, if I'm going to jump into this, I need to know ahead of time. Do you guys, can I have a conversation with you guys about Ghost in the Shell, or should we just talk about it as briefly as possible? No
I have
one?
to raise my hand.
Yes.
I'm
All right.
raising my
Talking and I
hand.
can have a conversation.
I have a boo-boo. Okay, anyway.
So do you think this would work then? Okay, first off then, I guess my first question comes, do you think that Ghost in the Shell is a good setting for an MMO universe?
No.
Why
One
not?
word answer.
I just don't see an MMO working in the Ghost in the Shell universe. I can definitely see a console/PC game. I could see that coming like
We've
years
had
ago,
those,
and
though,
I'm
haven't we?
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
played
a new one, an updated, an advanced one with good graphics.
It's a cartoon. How much more how much more advanced with the graphics can we get when it's just a cartoon?
Did the last one have jiggly physics? I don't think so. So let's just go
Fair
ahead
enough.
and say.
Fair enough.
If they can make an MMO work in that setting, I would definitely try it out. It would be interesting to see. I imagine the main characters would just be like your superiors, and you would be working for them in some way. But
I've got to say, for me, it's interesting to see them go with this approach. Now, it kind of makes me feel like it's because the fantasy MMORPG is a dying trend. I'm shocked that they didn't go with something and try and compare it to some of the MMO related animes that we have out there, like .hack is the more established series. Like, I think players have always kind of wanted to see an MMO based in the .hack universe. And then you've got everything established as to the universe that would be your MMO. So it's interesting to see the approach go with Ghost in the Shell.
I think Death Note, the MMO, would be awesome.
I gotta agree.
Oh my gosh. Oh, now I'm going to make that. That's my new goal in life.
Pocket, can you come on to After Dark so I can talk about anime with people and not just get Darnell and Josh rolling their eyes at me when I have to nerd out by myself?
Darnell doesn't roll his eyes. He looks you straight in the face and he tells you you're dumb.
That's horrible.
It's true.
He does it in the nicest way, though. He's very tactful.
All right, well, it'll be interesting to see. We don't know a lot of information on it, let alone if it's an MMO, but potentially we could be seeing a Ghost in the Shell MMO. So let's move on to some viewer questions. In light of Asheron's Call 2 coming back, we asked the following questions, and here were your guys' responses. But since we don't have cards, you just get to look at my pretty mug. So we asked, could you get back into an MMO after being away from it for 7 years? Leah Scheller Evans had this to say. He or she said, if all of my old guildmates were there, or at least my favorites, hell, I'd go back to EverQuest if I stopped playing in 2001. That's a fair enough statement, I think.
Or you just treat it like Facebook.
What's this?
So sure. So it's basically, if they launch my old game, I'll treat it the same way I treat Facebook. This is a place we could go and talk to each other.
Yeah, of course.
And do things together, play Farmville and all that. No, she makes a good point, but I also don't think that. I think that when you have friends that are fun, like to play with, like game wise, like it can make any game fun. So it's really not about. I mean, look at gameplay, right? When you have idiots like Gary and Shaftnet playing, then any game is fun.
It's the best game ever.
Exactly. See?
You know you love those episodes. They're your favorite pastime. We should record some more. There's more Magicka DLC. We should go into that, right?
Oh yeah, we should totally do that because we totally beat the original.
It's gonna be great. It's been so long since we've played. It's the perfect amount of time to go back and not know what we're doing anymore.
The DLC gets harder. That's the problem, and we're not getting better.
Wait, what game are we talking about?
Magicka.
WA Space.
Oh.
I don't know about you, but I played like a pro when I didn't have a mouse. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. All right, Jonathan Renya said that I got back into Fantasy Star Online after being gone for about 8 or 8. So be gone for about 8. So definitely, the game has to be appealing enough and most importantly, be filled with positive memories. I tell my friends all the time that Fantasy Star Online, how great Fantasy Star Online was back in the day. It seems like the community is basically saying if their friends were playing, they wouldn't necessarily have a problem getting involved in the game.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what happened to me. Sort of when I got kind of back into Guild Wars 1 this summer, because I played it for a couple months when it came out in 2005, and then really didn't touch it again, and didn't really get back in. I just kind of jumped in one day, and then actually Elizabeth jumped in with me and like showed me around some stuff. So I was like, oh, this is cool. So it was nice having someone to actually kind of show me around to get me back into it at least. We didn't play a whole lot after that, but at least I had that kind of initial push into the door. So it helped to at least get me going a little bit and at least sort of kind of remember what it was like back when I had a guild and all the other stuff.
I will say that I played Ultima Online for 7 years on and off, but my breaks were only like a month or 2 months, and so getting back into it was really easy, and a lot of people were there. But I quit for a few years around college, and I went back to it, and it was depressing. It was so depressing because, sure, I could have gotten a few of my friends that I played with then to come back and play with me, but it was depressing in the sense that a lot of like the big PvPers and big names that you knew were no longer there. They were all replaced by people that you didn't know that sucked at the game or that you didn't really want to talk to and establish.
People just suck at games, and the people I hate lost their jobs.
It was just sad. It was, I don't know. I was just like, where are all the good players? Where are all the top people that I remember killing and getting killed by and talking crap to every day? Elitist
pocket, man.
I am not. Yeah, in that game I was terrible. But
all right, well, Kevin Redmond was actually kind of a little bit of a skeptic on. He's one of the few who had a negative response. He said, I have a hard time with it because of the outdated graphics and controls most of the time. It looks and feels cumbersome and makes me lose interest. That's kind of what you were saying, Mike, about how games just aren't, the game isn't what today's standard of games is. People aren't willing to accept that.
Yeah, and I talk about Project Visitor a lot, 10.6, and it's funny, I brought it up so many times that during like a TWIMMO 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, somebody like Gary was like, I need to play this game because you won't shut up about it. I had to kind of take off the rose goggles and be like, Gary, look, the graphics are terrible, the controls suck, it's not a good game. It was an amazing game, it's good to remember that stuff. It's not a good game to go jump into right now. You will not be happy. No, and that's true. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. You may get in and have like a nostalgia kick or something, but if you've been a gamer the entire time, it didn't just like stop with that game and then come back and play that game again. That was all you played. Then you've changed. Like there's things that have changed in how you game, and you become, I guess, you become jaded. And you go back and play that. It's like, oh god, it's right. This. Well, it was fun then. I guess okay, that's it.
Well, I agree completely, and the way that my friends and I always put it is the idea of going back and playing these games was actually better than playing them, and the memories of playing these games was better than going back and playing them. It just, the memories and the ideas and stuff that you had from before basically aren't there anymore if you quit for that long. And the games usually change so much that the game that you loved no longer is there. And that's one thing about UO is it's changed so much that I can't go back and enjoy it because it's unrecognizable almost. And so, I mean, that's a huge difference for a lot of these games.
All right, and last up from my favorite person from After Dark, if you don't know who I'm talking about, you got to go check out the show. Eduardo called it or left a response and said, actually, he's got he bases a lot of off his relationships. I'm stealing this response.
He's a romantic.
He must be a romantic because listen to this. Actually, I recently got back with my girlfriend from 8 years ago, so it's possible. My girlfriend got hotter after 8 years. I'm not sure if it works the same with MMOs.
That's horrible.
Well, obviously it doesn't. We're talking about
brilliant.
the graphics. Obviously, MMOs don't look any hotter after 8 years.
It's not like Punky Brewster or something. It's like, oh, that little weird looking little girl on that show, and then now she's like hot. It's like it doesn't always work that way. It doesn't work good with MMOs at all. No, not at all.
Ever. It usually doesn't work with exes either. Just saying.
Clearly, it works for Eduardo though. So
Eduardo.
Well, congratulations.
Eduardo, I can't say it as action, but Eduardo is actually from Mexico City. I know this because I talk to him on a weekly basis.
The more you know.
Are you his hot girlfriend?
Might be.
Yeah,
I don't
there
know.
we go.
Pockets, Hillary Nicole. You can follow her right there at Pocket Says. Catch her on GameBreaker, MMORPG, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Catch her streams on Twitch. Be sure to follow her. She'll find you and wish that you never had a job and then get you fired.
I know.
It's true. I'm an elitist in real life too.
Jason Winter, you can follow him right. Oh, no, not right there.
Nope.
Because that doesn't exist. You changed it. You got so upset over people not knowing. You're like, I don't understand how people can't understand it. You changed it on me.
It's Winter Informal. It's actually now, it's just been changed on the site on all my articles. So go to one of my articles or follow me on Twitter or whatever.
So be sure to check out Winter Informal.
Oh my God, it's the easiest one to understand.
You still can't get it right.
Look at Darnell really quick. He needs to talk to
Mine
you.
is easier than that. Pocket Says. Yours is Winter Informal. That's a lot harder.
Thank you. And Mike B, you can follow him right there at AKA Mike B. Or is it Mike B, AKA? I don't know.
It's
Or is it Mike Bacaphony?
exactly. Thank you very much.
Your middle name's Baca, right?
Yeah. By the way, hey, real quick, and I'll try to remember next week. On the 21st, if you play PlanetSide 2, which I know a lot of you guys do, they're offering up a triple SMED points, which is their cash shop currency. So you basically buy whatever you normally would, and you get like 3 times the amount. There are Walmart cards that you could pick up. I'd go get them ahead of time because I've heard that they've actually walked out much sooner than the actual sales come up. That you could get, and it'll triple those as well. Just be careful not buy too many, like more than 8, because then you'll reach like the daily cap. So just throwing that out there. There you go.
There you go.
Triple
There's your
points.
daily tip. Early. What's that, Pocket?
I'm gonna throw something out there right there. Or right about now. Jason, why didn't you choose Winter is Coming for your Twitter?
That was so easily. That was taken. Everything I wanted that was good was taken.
How did you actually try that?
I tried like 20 different things. They're all taken.
So be sure to follow Jason at Winter
Formal.
Winter Informal. There it is.
Winter
you're throwing a
Infomercial.
wrench in the system, Jason. Come on. Follow me at Mike Shaffnet, where I'm I can't even say dyslexic. Get me out of here. Be sure to follow at GameBreaker TV. Whole bunch of MMO related content on a weekly basis. Almost made it through it. Getting out of here now, guys. Follow GameBreaker TV. Check out our stuff. Catch me on After Dark every Tuesday at 9 p.m. PDT, where you guys can call in and ask us questions. I'm gonna get one button. I can already tell. By the time I can stop this stream, they're gonna make fun of me some more while you look at the TWIMMO card. See you guys next week.
Sorry.
Man, I almost made it too. I had to open my mouth at the end. I
You had to bring up dick sluts. Terrible.
Oh my God.
Dyslexic.
Now people are gonna look up
Dyslexic.
that Twitter. In fact, I'm gonna go look up that Twitter now.
I gotta see that.
It's got to be taken.
Some words. Leave me alone. Stop judging.
Yep, it's definitely taken.
It is by Crate and Barrel.
Creighton, wait. Oh, I was gonna say, isn't that shop?
Dick Slut says, everyone tells me I should watch Dexter, but that show sounds scary to me.
Nightmares.
Dick Slut says, yummy in a tummy, Thanksgiving.
Why would he name himself this?
Dick Slut says, I just made a deposit into my random acts of kindness account. Dick Slut says, I feel like I've been born again. Dick Slut says, man, do I love flowers.
Okay, well, that's definitely a girl. Probably. Definitely, probably.
It looks like we're already off.
No, we shouldn't be.
Oh, are we?
We should still be on.
It says offline.
Yeah, it says offline.
What's that?